Hey, everybody, welcome to the post July 4th Minds of Markets live stream. I am not here live on the SIBO trading floor in the S&P 500 options pit like I usually am. That is a fake, well, it's a real background of the pit, but I am not in the pit today. And we're going to do a shortened version today just because trade is pretty much over for the day. We got the big jobs report this morning. I'll tell you, everybody, things are weakening. The economy is weakening. I don't care what the Fed says. I don't care what anybody out there is saying. Jobs are getting softer, and that's what they were looking for. And why do I say that? Because the number was a little bit better than expected, the 206 or whatever it was. Look at the revisions over the last 2 months, down 111,000. Remember the May jobs report, everybody, that we got a month ago when it was like this big blowout number to the upside? Nah, not when you revise it. Then you look at the ISM, the manufacturing data that we got Wednesday, just 2 days ago before the July 4th holiday. That was much weaker than expected. I am telling you, everybody, the Fed needs to cut rates. They're not going to do it in July. September should almost be a certainty at this point, but they need to do it. And let me bring in on the screen here, guys, the CME FedWatch tool. Okay, here is an update to the second. I just refreshed the screen. So you can see right here, this is for the July Fed meeting, which is in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or so. 93% probability that they leave rates where they are. Okay, they leave rates where they are. 93% probability. Now, if we move up to the September meeting, that is now up to a 75, almost 76% probability that they are going to lower rates. That has moved significantly. If you look down at the bottom here now, guys, okay, this is going to show you how those probabilities have changed. So we're at 76% right now or so, which is this combined number right here. Okay, just a day ago it was 72%. A month ago, 69%, so that is ticking up. The eco data out there is weak. The jobs number not as robust as anybody could think they were. So in my opinion, July shouldn't be totally off the table. Okay, it probably is. September, to me, unless something drastically changes, is a lock. All right, now that we're at the end of the holiday shortened week and a really, really funky week with, and I don't know why the exchanges did this with Wednesday being the half day and today being a full day. In my opinion, it should have been Wednesday a full day, off yesterday, half day today, because everybody's taking today off anyway. But the market is really still just grinding higher. The path of least resistance is higher, especially with the weaker eco data. Next week, we will get the CPI and the PPI report, more inflation data, so that's going to be real important as well. But for right now, guys, path of least resistance is higher. Buy your protection, everybody. S&P, Q's downside, it's really cheap. VIX is really cheap. Just buy some protection. All right, what's moving in the markets today? Meta's the big mover on the upside today. Check out this move on the upside. And I was just looking, option flow today is really, really skewed on the upside in Meta. In fact, bring in this chart right here. Today's option statistics. Look at this. It's well over 2-to-1. Call versus put in Meta today. Well over 2-to-1, so a big bias towards the upside. And if we look at what some of those expirations are, not even looking at today, if we go out to next week, okay, lots of volume here next week in these upside calls right here. The 540s, the 550s, okay? And those are opening, guys. How do I know they're opening? Because the amount of trade today, the volume today, is well greater, much greater than the open interest, okay? And then pretty steady here as well for the following week in the upside calls in Meta. So, is this going to break out? Well, prior all-time high, prior resistance was right here, guys, 527-ish. So it has broken out through that. There is nothing above here from a technical standpoint. There is absolutely no resistance there. So this thing really could move. This thing really could have a lot of room to the upside here. All right, so definitely want to watch for that. Those earnings are in 3 weeks. Those are on July 31st. Now, next week, seems like we just finished with the most recent earnings season. Next week, it starts all over again. Banks typically start the earnings season. That's what we're going to get next week as well. We've got JP Morgan right here on Friday. Wells Fargo is also next Friday. Citigroup is next Friday. So get ready, guys, because just when you thought, we cleared the hurdle, right? We cleared last quarter's earnings. All this eco data is coming in soft. The market is right at it. Now we're right back at earnings again. I can't wait. Earnings brings opportunity. We see, implied volatilities really start ratcheting up. So I'm very, very much looking forward to the start of earnings season again. Okay, coin, guys. I want to review coin, and here's the chart. This morning, coin got hammered. Why? Because crypto, Bitcoin, been on a big downward move. Absolutely got hammered again this morning. I think, in fact, Bitcoin traded down below 55,000 this morning, if I'm not mistaken. You can see the drop today. Let's see what the low of the day was here. Was 53,635. Okay, why? Well, for those of you that don't know this, there's something called Mt. Gox, G-O-X, okay? This was one of the crypto platforms that years and years and years ago, it was actually taken over by the government because there was so much nefarious trading. Let's call it that way. Okay, let's call it that. There was a lot of shady crap going on. So Mt. Gox was investigated. It was illegal. Government took over a massive amount of crypto, especially Bitcoin, which they are now releasing back to those owners. So just think of if all of a sudden, let me get the exact date also on this, because this is actually pretty well relevant. When did government take Mt. Gox crypto? Okay, there's it's not so Bitcoin has lost about 9 billion. It's 140,000 Bitcoin. 140,000 Bitcoin, guys. Okay? So the people that had that, and this is back 10 years, February of 2014. The people that had that stolen from them back then, okay, without any recourse during this whole time, okay, now are starting to get that back. Well, what would you do? What would you do if all of a sudden somebody gave you Bitcoin at the price that it was stolen from you, which back in February of 2014 was right about 550 bucks? What would you do? It's now 55,000. right? It's now 55,000. It's 100x, basically. It's 100x. Well, what would you do? You'd probably be selling that Bitcoin now, right? That is what we're seeing happen to the Bitcoin market right now. That is what this movement is right here. So along with Bitcoin, all the Bitcoin related stocks, Coinbase, Mara, Riot, and the like, they've all been hammered. Well, this morning, I thought it was a little overdone, way overdone with this Mt. Gox thing. That, there's this old adage of buy the rumor, sell the news, right? This is kind of sell the rumor, buy the news, in my estimation. So when Bitcoin was down on its low, when Coinbase was down on its lows this morning at around 210 or 211, we put out a very bullish option signal that we got filled on. So we got filled on this, what's called a broken wing butterfly. It's an upside spread, July 19th expiration. Okay, very bullish. We bought this thing for $2.25. It's trading about $1 higher right now, about 40% higher than where we bought it this morning. Okay, will we adjust? Will we take some profits off? Probably not today, unless Bitcoin makes another huge run, because Bitcoin is well off its lows. Coinbase is $10 off its lows. So never say never. We might take some profits on this today. One thing we discussed, me and the students who got in here, one thing we discussed was possibly turning this into not just a broken wing butterfly, which we have, but a ratio, meaning selling this upside call spread, another one of those, to reduce our cost, to reduce our risk. Still would leave us with an upside move. We'll see. Very flexible with this, but that was really the trade of the day today, guys, was getting in something related to Bitcoin down near the bottom of the market. I know Mike Shore also got into this, and he also got into a very short term, I think a day trade in Mara, which was pretty darn good. So that's the bulk of the trade today, guys. Again, you get into a holiday shortened week like this with really, really, really low volumes across the board. And I'm going to look at SPX volume right now. Sometimes the best thing is to do nothing. Best thing is to just kind of stay on the sidelines. Make sure, though, that the setup is just ideal. Okay, it's got to be ideal when you get in a trading environment like this. So today, SPX, we got 970 million contracts that have traded so far. Average daily volume is about 1.6 or so. So, we're kind of on that, but much of that trade was right at the beginning of the day today after that jobs number came out. And we're going to see just a continuation, in my estimation, continuation of the market slowing down. All right, let me check here for any questions we may have that I want to get to. Okay, what do I see in the markets next week? I mean, again, right now, trend is your friend, path of least resistance. Honestly, things can change on a dime. We don't know what's going on with the election. We don't know what's going on with Biden perhaps being replaced. We don't know if he is, whether that's going to be good or bad for the markets, right? So there's a lot of uncertainty still out there, which is why I really believe volatility is too cheap. All right, everybody. I know this was a quick update, quick review today. We absolutely will be back next Tuesday. I hope you've all had a fantastic holiday shortened week. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys next week, everybody. Take care.